Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuh. So dear student, in the last period we have finished very beautiful Japanese story, the ashes that trees made tree bloom. Now we will start the supplementary reader. Please take your supplementary reader on page first chapter only, on page first. The tiny teacher. As you know, the meaning of tiny is small. So how small a teacher can be, I mean here metaphorically the meaning is that you can learn from anyone, a baby, we fly, animal, human being, or boy, girl. So tiny means small, so tiny teacher, from that tiny creature we can learn so many things. We will see what is it. First para. Name the smallest insect you have seen and the wisest. Is it the fly? No, it isn't. Is it the mosquito? No, not the mosquito. Then it must be the worm. No, none of this. It is the ant, the commonest, smallest, but the wisest insect. The story of an ant's life sounds almost untrue, but people have kept ants as a pets and have watched their daily behavior closely. So we know a number of facts about this tiny, hardworking, and intelligent creature. As you know, author himself asked the question. We will learn about the smallest insect. Is it fly? No. Is it mosquito? No. Is it worm? No. Then he says ant, very commonest, smallest, but wisest. And when we see the story, which is very it sounds untrue, but people have kept the ant as a pet and watch their daily activity behavior in the camera. They have recorded in the camera. Then they were able to find out the thing about this small creature ant. Second para. An ant uses its feelers or antenna to talk to other ants by passing messages through them. Watch a row of ants moving up or down the wall. Each ant greets all the other coming from the opposite direction by touching their feelers. The poet gives very beautiful information about the ant, that whenever we see on a wall and one line is going and another one line is going in one direction, another ant coming in another direction, opposite direction, so that ant of opposite direction, she regularly meets almost all the ants those who are going in opposite direction. So they touch through antenna, they say maybe salam, hi, hello in their own language. So Almighty Allah has given them in that way. On page 2, there are many kinds of ants. The commonest among them are black or red ones. We have seen them since we were children, but haven't paid enough attention to them. Where do they live? In their comfortable homes called nest or ant hill. Each has hundreds of little rooms and passages. In some of these rooms, the queen ant lay eggs. Others are nurseries for the young one, called grubs. Workers have their reserved quarters. They spend most of their time searching for food. Some roofs serve as a storehouse for this food. Soldiers have separate barracks. No worker has ever tried to live in a soldier's house. No soldier has ever gone out of searching for food. No worker or soldier or cleaner has ever harmed a grub. So you see, sorry, an ant's life is peaceful, very peaceful. Each does its share of work intelligently and bravely, and never fights with their members of the group. So in this particular paragraph, he talks about the ant hill, and where they have the hundreds of small rooms, but these rooms have been categorized, they have been divided, and some are soldier ants, some soldiers, and then some are workers ant, and they have resort quarters. And what is the work of the queen ant? Queen ant lay eggs, and or others are nurseries for the younger ones. I mean, those who other ant younger one, and they are in a nursery. So these other ants, like workers or soldiers, they give them training, they take them to the sunlight and bring them back. So their specific work is given, and there are certain worker ant who search for food only, and there are some soldiers have separate barracks. Soldier ants have they totally separate barracks. Then the very interesting thing is that they do not interfere in each other's. Soldier ant will not move in workers ant quarter. Workers ant or other ants will not move to the soldiers barrack, and those who search for food, they will not go some into another area. The ant group of ant who takes care of the younger groups, they will not interfere into the worker ants. So they follow the discipline very systematically. They don't interfere each other. That is why their work goes very nicely. Everybody does their work intelligently, bravely. Nobody makes a laziness, unlike human being or other, sometimes other animal, where you will find that only a few people are working in a office or and sometimes in a company. A few people work intelligently and others pass the time. But unlike the human being, here ants are totally disciplined, and they are very brave, and they are very specific and particular about their own work. This is very important that you should remember. The next part on page 3. The queen ant has a pair of wings which she cast off before she beginning to lay eggs. Eggs hatch and becomes grubs changing into the cocoons, and cocoon brings to bring forth complete ant. The life of ordinary ant in anthill is book which many of us seldom open. The queen is the mother of the entire population of the colony. It lives about 15 years. It has a pair of wings, but bites them off after wedding flight. This flight takes place on a hot summer day. The queen leaves the nest and goes out to meet a male ant or drone high up in the air. On its return to earth, it gets rid of its wings and then does nothing but lay eggs. Now you will be surprised to know queen is having the wings, but she when she gets married, that she gets rid of that particular wings, and that pair of wings, when she goes in search of male or drone where she had a marriage, then she comes back and lays egg. So really we can say that it is very wonderful that she lives for 15 years. Can you imagine 15 years? And she leaves the nest and goes out to male and high up in the air and return to earth, get rid of wings, and then does nothing but lay eggs. So only queen egg ant can lay the eggs. Other ants don't the authority. On page 4 I am reading the next para. Eggs hatch, grubs come out, soldiers guard them, workers feed and clean them, and also carry them about daily for airing, exercise and sunshine. 2 or 3 weeks later, grub becomes cocoons and lie without food or activity for 3 weeks more. Then the cocoons break and perfect ants appear. Now it's time for teaching and training. New ants learn their duties from old ants as workers, soldiers, builders, cleaners. After a few weeks training, the small ants are ready to go out into the big world of work. As you know, queen lay eggs and soldier ants guard them. Workers ants feed them, clean them, and also carry them for daily airing, exercise. Whose duty is this? Workers ant, to feed them, to clean them, to carry them about daily for airing, exercise and sunshines. It goes on for 2-3 weeks. After 2-3 weeks, grub becomes cocoons and lie without food for activity for 3 weeks more. First 3 weeks and next 3 weeks they lie without food or activity, just growing. Then cocoons break and perfect ants appear. After that cocoons break, perfect ants appear. Now it's time for their teaching and training. Now they have been trained to perform the duties as a worker, soldiers, builder, cleaners, so that they should be able to work. After a few weeks training, these small ants are inducted into the army of the regular ant, worker ant, soldier ant, and other types of ant, and they perform their responsibility very nicely. I am reading the next para. An ant hill is home not only for ants but also for some other creatures, beetles, lesser breeds of ants, and the green fly. Why do ants want this alien creature to live in the nest? For several reasons. Some give off smell pleasant to the ants' senses, others give sweet juices, and some are just pets or playthings like cats and dogs to human beings. The green fly is the ant's cow. The ant train it to give honeydew like milk. With the touch of their antenna, they milk it just as we milk the cow. Now, as you know, the ant hill which where ant live, there they are not only soldier ant, worker ant, queen ant, and uh, other types of ant, but here beetles and green fly they also live, who are a different creature from ant. What type of duty do they perform? They give the smell, pleasant smell to the ant's senses, and some other creature give the sweet juices, and some are just pets, like we keep you cats and you dogs. For what purpose we keep cats and dog? Just only for our for our hobby. The same way they keep for as a pet. The green fly is the ant's cow. The green fly is ant's cow. They ants they need to give honeydew like a milk. With a touch of their antenna they give the milk as just we milk the cow. Have humans ever learned as much as the ants have? Perhaps they have, but they haven't put their learning to good use. They may still learn a few things from this tiny teacher: hard work, sense of duty, discipline, cleanliness, care for the younger ones, and above all, firm loyalty to the land where they live. In the last paragraph, the author talks about what did we human beings, the superior creature, what did we learn from the ants? We learned, but the question is that we didn't put it to use proper use. We didn't utilize their teaching. Only we know how much they work hard, how they are having the sense of duty, they are very well disciplined, they take the care of younger ones, but we didn't apply, we didn't implement in our life. That is the real complaint of a author, that this is not fair. We only learn and we just don't put it into practice. So we can say that from this small tiny teacher we learn sense of duty, discipline, loving for care, loving and caring for the younger ones, and very importantly not interfering into others work. If we apply these principles in our family, business, school, college, company, where do you, at our workplace, at our home, or wherever we go, then inshallah we will see that 90% of quarrels that take place on a very petty issue, that will not take place, and we will utilize our time for the advancement of technology, advancement of our human beings, a betterment of human beings. So from such a small tiny teacher we learn a lot of things, so many things. The only condition is that it is conditioned by applying their knowledge, by practicing their principle, then only we will get the result. So here we end this chapter. Question answers are given. Write it down and send it on my personal number without fail. Jazakallah.